It's probably one of the most iconic battles in the automotive industry, BMW's M3 versus Mercedes-Benz's C63 AMG. Now, the AMG's also joined the turbo era in the C-Class, and we're here to find out how they stack up against one another.
The long-awaited Mercedes C63 AMG. Now, the model we've got here today is fitted with 170,000 rands worth of Edition 1 kit. What that gives you is some decals on the side, carbon strips on the side stills, a carbon hood spoiler, different seats, different steering wheel. But what you're really interested in is what lurks underneath this bonnet. This is the brand new 4-litre twin-turbo engine from Mercedes-Benz that you'll also find in the AMG GT supercar. An interesting technical fact is that Mercedes has decided to position the two turbos inside the V of the new 4-litre engine. The standard C63 has got 350 kilowatts, but we've got the S version here today, which is 375 kilowatts.
By now, the specs of the BMW M3 is known quite well. However, what we're afraid of is the fact that the BMW's 6-cylinder engine won't be able to compete with the bigger, larger, stronger engine of the Mercedes-Benz AMG. However, let's hit the road to see and experience how they compare. The first thing you notice when you climb in and sit down is just like you're a bit more connected to the car. It feels like you're sitting a bit lower. Steering wheel comes out a bit further. And then it only takes a few corners to realize how eager this car is to turn in. With all the systems switched on, there is definitely some interference from the software if you start pushing on. So I'm definitely not going to switch it off. But in the MDN mode, it just relaxes the software a bit, gives you more leeway, and also more engine power more of the time. But make no mistake, this car grips just phenomenally well. And let us not forget, there's a 200 kilogram difference between the Merc and the BMW, and you can definitely feel it. It might be a litre down on the Merc, it is not slower.
Alright, I'm driving the C63 first. I just want to talk about the engine for a bit. Because its capacity is 4 litre compared to the M3's 3 litre, they don't have to use as much boost to get to the silly power figures these cars make. Which means that there's less turbo lag. You could probably listen to that exhaust noise while I drive, but I wish you could feel the instant response that we get. And that sound is just incredible. But Alan, that was fun, but you should really drive the C63.
Okay, let's go. Right, so it's my turn in the C63. Seats are nice, grabs you, holds you in place. I like the steering wheel to come a bit closer to my chest. It does feel at times ponderous, but still the suspension did a great job of hiding that additional weight. Grip levels are obviously, as you can expect, fairly high, but the front doesn't turn in as keenly as the BMW. Another important factor is the carbon ceramic brakes on the C63. It is really doing a great job at bringing this 1.8 ton performance sedan back down to your desired speed before a corner.
Now it's my turn in M3, and what a different car. Again, I want to talk about the engine. In this case, It's the 3-litre turbo inline 6. BMW was first to join the turbo race with M3 versus C63, and there's just the slightest hint of turbo lag. I mean, for a turbo engine it's still incredible, but you just realize when you're at low engine speeds and you tip in, there's just that fraction of a second that you have to wait for that full 550 Newton meters to kick in. The noise, well, as you can hear, not quite as raucous as that V8 in the Mercedes. It's got a bit of that inline wail, but there's also a bit of synthesized sounds coming through, which is not the best in this kind of vehicle. You would like to have that raw sounding race engine sound. But then the gearbox, that is something else. Probably the fastest, or one of the fastest dual clutch boxes out there. Immediate response with vigor, the benchmark which the Mercedes can't quite get to.
Nicole, I think the M3's got the edge here on the mountain pass, but what I want to know is how will they stack up on a drag strip?
BMW's M3 versus Mercedes C63 AMG. We've tested both of them at almost exactly the same time to 100 kilometers per hour. But what we want to find out today is which is quicker in the quarter mile. So we've driven these two German performance sedans extensively on the road. The Mercedes over here won our battle of the drag race. But Willem, after today, what do you think of the BMW?
Nicole, I think it's a great car. I had a great time behind the wheel. I think it's more of a driver's car compared to the Mercedes-Benz. What stands out for me is the fact that it's a lot lighter, 200 kgs lighter. It's down on engine capacity, it's down on cylinders compared to the Mercedes-Benz, but it's not slower. What makes it nice as well is the fact that it's a bit more racier, a bit more edgier on the one hand, but as we experienced today, it's more stable through the corners and maybe a little bit easier to drive fast compared to the Mercedes-Benz. And Nicole, your experiences of the C63S?
Well, just look at it. Personally, I'm not such a fan of the Edition 1 kit, but it really looks menacing. The best attribute of this car, however, is that new 4-litre twin-turbo engine. I mean, 375 kilowatts and 700 Newton meter. It really pushes you along. It's almost like in the mountain pass, when you get to the grip level, you're almost too afraid to touch the accelerator to upset the car's balance through a turn. So maybe not as driver car as the BMW, but in the straight line, not a lot of cars will catch this. All in all, I think it's also a great vehicle. They're both brilliant vehicles and it's really hard to choose between them. If we really have to make a decision today, then the honours will need to go to the BMW M3. It's the pure driver's car and you save yourself 300,000 rands.